Hello. This is the first video I've made in a while. I'm going to try to do a Blitz video and see how that goes. I've done classical time control videos before. This went okay. I'm going to give it a shot with Blitz. I don't know if I'll have enough time to really talk much, but it's worth a shot. I'm hoping by kind of talking things out, really think through my moves a little bit more. Okay, here we go. And especially in reviewing my games, I think I do a lot better job reviewing when I actually talk things out. So let's see if he accepts the gambit. A lot of low-rated players, it seems like, will. No, he'll play a Slav. I want to play Queen C2 next if he doesn't play Bishop F4, F5. That's a line that John Bartholomew recommended that I picked up from him that I like. I feel like I often don't really know how to develop my queen. So it's kind of good in an opening like this to just have that plan in place. Alright, I'll probably be looking for E3 soon. If he plays E6, maybe I can think of Bishop G5. Yeah, so he's probably wanting to play Bishop F5 now. Maybe just E3 and then meet Bishop F5 with Bishop D3. That seems like a good way to avoid losing tempo. Maybe looking for B5 coming up. I could play A4 to try to stop that. Or I could just develop. I could maybe play Bishop D3 anyway. Either that or Knight C3. Look like tempting options. Let's just go ahead and develop the bishop. Get ready to castle. Yeah, okay. It makes me spin the tempo. Probably just bishop back to E3. Well. Now I may want to play A4 because I like that his light squared bishop is kind of blockaded right now. And with A4, if I can prevent him from moving his B pawn, he may have a hard time developing that piece. I'm giving up B4 square, but I don't see a way for him to take advantage of that quickly. I like my position overall. He hasn't really developed a whole lot. I need to figure out what to do with my dark squared bishop, though. Yeah, he's getting ready to castle. I thought he would go to G7 instead of E7, but... I think I'm just going to castle and wait and see what he does. He'll probably castle too, yeah. Yeah, I'll just continue developing. This is kind of a waiting move. I want to commit my first word bishop yet because I don't really know what I want to do with it. Rook E1 is something I could consider. I think B2 probably makes the most sense for my dark square bishop. I mean, I could expand in the center with e4. He doesn't really have a good way to challenge that. Okay. Well, I don't want to take, because that would improve his pawn structure. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play b3. He takes my knight, I'll take with my queen, and then bishop b2 is starting to set up some checkmating threats. I'll probably play bishop b2 next anyway. My queenside structure looks a little strange. I can still play bishop b2. Yeah, I think let's do that. I don't think I'm getting in trouble here. Capture. He's terribly far behind in queenside development, but I'm not sure what the best way to take advantage of that is. I think I want to kind of clear the air here. Well, let's not rush to do that, because I might prefer trying to. There we go. Okay. Not sure where he can really go with that. Put my rook opposite his queen. Could present some tactical opportunities. I want to get his bishop out of b4. The only way I really see to do that. Okay. So he can win my bishop now. Win the bishop pair, that is. Boy, his light squared bishop is awfully weak, though. Well, he's using a lot of time. I think I do want to take with the queen. I'm going to rethink again. Because if I take with the rook, I can roll rooks, perhaps. That might start kind of creating some problems for him. Try that. I've got the half-open d file to work with. And once I double, I'm probably threatening d5. Yeah, let's continue with that plan. Okay, that just drops a pawn, doesn't it? Can't take with the knight because his queen would hang. I may even have e6 coming soon. Now I can win 2 minor pieces for a rook. Not so sure that I want to be quick to do that, though. Let's see if we can't get this knight a better square. Okay. It's the only square I see for the rook. I have to be careful not to be trapped here. Okay. Is that not just dropping that? Gotta watch my time, even though he's also in trouble. Okay. I'll watch back rank. Yeah, I think that's what he's looking for. So let's take care of that now. His A pawn's hanging. Okay. Just lock that down. Doesn't really have the square to invade on. Okay. Okay, well, this is all trivial now. Make sure not to stalemate him, but with 3 pawns on the board. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened there. So let's close the book. I do want to use this an opportunity to learn openings better. And this opening, this Slav, is not one that I'm super familiar with. But it's probably good for me to explore my own ideas before I start using the book and the engine. So this is standard. I'm not sure if my plan to meet f5 was the best one. I'm not even sure if he really intended bishop to f5. He may have just been looking to fianchetto, although he didn't fianchetto. It seems like a decent way to meet the threat, though, because I get to develop a piece while I'm defending my queen. So it'll be interesting to see. Actually, let's look at the book, see what the book move is here. If it will bishop f4. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice diagonal. So the book is bishop f4, and then, yeah, usually he would fianchetto, but bishop f5 is played some too. Queen b3, okay. Just getting at that weak pawn. Oh, wow. Queen b6. Kind of interesting. Nobody wanting to initiate the queen trade and open up the opponent's rook. So that's probably a good thing for me to take away from this opening is if ever bishop 5, this pawn is weak, and I can get at it with my queen. So I wouldn't ever really be losing a tempo in that case. Any case, 3 is somewhat common move. White seems to score pretty well with. This is the Grandmaster database, by the way. That's probably better one to learn from than Lee chess players. We can close the book back. Yeah, that seems kind of slow to me. I mean, his development was very slow throughout. But going ahead and getting ready to castle, and now I can meet bishop f5 with bishop takes bishop. Yeah, that does lose a tempo. So I'm guessing there's probably not going to be much of a book here. Okay, well, so actually this is a somewhat commonly played move. Well, by transposition. And yeah, so bishop b3 was the correct move. Maybe I could take with my queen there. I didn't really consider that. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Okay, so no more need for the book. Take a look at what the engine says. I think bishop takes makes more sense. Yeah, and the engine actually prefers it by, well, now not so much. And now, decent amount. So it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but the queen seems somewhat exposed on c4. Takes. Yeah, so that gets his dark sword bishop into the action, but really doesn't leave his light sword bishop with anything. I wonder if this a4 idea that I had was a good one to kind of stunt his development. It's not really helping my development any. And I kind of did have some problems on b4 down the road with his dark sword bishop making use of that square. I think this was probably an accuracy on my part. Peter says I have a solid advantage. Yeah, a4. I'm guessing we'll give away some of that advantage. We'll give the engine a little bit of time to evaluate that. I like having it evaluate 2 lines just to kind of give myself an idea of how critical a move is. So, I mean, like in this case where it says castles and e4 the same, I'm not going to beat myself up if I played e4 instead of castles. But, you know, it's good to identify where sometimes there's only one move is really good. I haven't seen a4 pop up into either one of those slots, so I definitely thought about e4. I can't remember if I mentioned it in this case or at this point in the game. But yeah, let's just go ahead and see what happens with a4. Yeah, so it definitely seems like I've given away a little bit of the advantage. Maybe it's not quite an inaccuracy, but an interesting thought, but one that really doesn't work so well. Yeah, and I mean, he can still play, for example, 5, take with this pawn. And now he's got tempo. Oh, no. Yeah, I missed this. So it really does inconvenience him a little bit. And of course, he could just play b6. Looks a little strange. Yeah. So all in all, it's probably not all that bad, but maybe just makes more sense to develop. Castles. Yeah, I wasn't really sure where to go from here. Engine back off. Okay, well, I saw knight c3 coming up there. Yeah, I mean, my queenside pieces are clearly the priority to develop. Yeah, the bishop doesn't really make any sense on d2, so I think knight c3, maybe even knight d2, and pawn b3 are the moves that really make sense. Yeah, the engine agrees with me there. Oh, it's now mentioning e4. But yeah, probably knight c3 is fine. And I didn't want to take here because I didn't want to uncongest his pawns a little bit. I kind of liked that structure that he had. Yeah, computer wants to kick it with e4 or go ahead and put the rook on that file. Yeah, and I think just defending made sense here. I could just kind of get out of the way, but I would rather develop a piece. Okay, it's saying knight a2, which I kind of dismissed because I thought after maybe bishop a5, thought maybe my knight would just misplaced if I did that. This happened. The computer doesn't love that. I guess the bishop's not so great either. Yeah, and I can kick this knight. Sorry, my just seems to be a little bit laggy when I'm running the engine and also video. So okay, and then it's actually suggesting knight into b4. Yeah, because I think if anywhere else, I mean, for example, if the knight, let's say, just goes back, yeah, then don't I have b4? And that's looking good. It's also suggesting knight d1. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to move the knight too, just to get out of the way of any tactical ideas. And maybe he's got ideas of, oh, so laggy. Like I can even really use my mouse. I mean, he may have ideas of queen to a5, and then I would probably have to play one of the rooks to c1 to defend, or I could just move at that point. And then, yeah, then I don't know what his queen's doing on a5. Just see what the computer says. Yeah, so about the same. Move the rook in here. Here I got an e4. Yeah, that was kind of an aggressive move, but I didn't really see what was going to come of it. I like this rook a to d1 move just to get on the file with the queen. Yeah, so maybe that's something I should have noticed, was that my bishop was low on squares after he places his knight there. But I don't think it's so bad. I'm getting ready to double rooks, like I said. And yeah, his development is still not looking very easy. I mean, his knight only has d7, and from there it really only has f6 and b6. And then yeah, his bishop only has 2 squares. So he's got some problems. I should have time to really develop it better. Yeah, and I guess he missed that you wouldn't be able to recapture either way. I wonder if knight takes was better. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I guess he's just getting out of the pin. Really don't know where I'm going with my knight here, but it just seemed like I needed to do something, and it opens up the bishop. Yeah, I wonder if he had some way of trapping my rook. I think I said that was the only square, but now I see that d4 is perfectly fine too. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think at this point he just started missing that things were hanging. Yeah, it's pretty trivial at this point. He asked for a take back. I guess he didn't realize that we were both losing our queen here. And now it's just a matter of converting it. Didn't fall for any back rank issues. Locked down the d file there and allows the rook to get in. Yeah, he keeps missing things. Or maybe he was just tired of playing. You see that sometimes too. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what the computer has to say. We can go back to the starting position. That's a minute to run. I didn't get into time trouble despite narrating this, but I do think I was playing slower than I would play if I weren't narrating, so that could be a challenge for future videos. Okay, so it looks like I played a little bit inaccurately, but never really lost huge advantage. So let's see where things kind of went wrong. Yeah, so it didn't like that move. And I guess it makes sense. Technically, getting 2 minor pieces for the rook is winning material, so it wants me to do that. Yeah, like I said, it makes sense. And then maybe I even have my knight jumping in here, piling up on this pawn. And yeah, after this, it's virtually drawn. Yeah, and it wants him to play takes A, knight E to D4. Piling up on this pawn. Assuming the bishop would come here. Then maybe takes A. Sure about that. Yeah, clearly blundered there and there. Yeah, it's over. We can go back to the beginning and just kind of see if anything else is really jumping out. Yeah, so it did score A4 as an inaccuracy, which I think is fair. Also didn't like bishop B2, yeah. Well, I'm not as understand, I guess, as much what the computer doesn't like about that. I mean, I guess, yeah, the knight's always going to be somewhat vulnerable to tactics as long as it's being attacked twice on that square. And it's not really doing anything, so maybe it's better to just go ahead and move it somewhere else. The rook move that I liked gave away my advantage. I assume that that's because of the situation with my bishop. Let's just see what the computer's recommending here. Yeah, so it's saying b5, and black wins the bishop pair. Oh yeah, I need to be a little bit more cognizant of my pieces are running low on squares like that. Then yeah, let's just see if it. Yeah, it does prefer, well, virtually even between rook takes and queen takes. Well, I think that just about puts a bow on this one. So until next time.